Hi. So we talked about this a little bit earlier today, and watching it again, I gotta ask you, since I'm sure a lot of people here probably the same question. Well, it's not really a question, but you're really good with that. You're really good with throwing people for sort of surprise, I mean, something that seems very unexpected. So can you explain that a little bit? The very last moment.
Can I explain?
Why end it that way? Why?
I don't know why these ideas hit. I really don't. Is there a theory behind it? I remember thinking this, having this thought at the wrong time. It was so powerful. My exact thought was, it was so powerful as terrorism that Western civilization, the things that jihadists despise, is so full of energy that it never belonged. And I thought it was important. She, to me, seemed like the moral center of the movie, to a certain extent. Plus, rock and roll and nuclear weapons came about at the same time the other world too. And they both are tremendous sources of energy.
You end with a really apt choice of music, and I'm not sure everybody got the song right at the end there, but it's the Sex Pistols doing a cover of the Modern Lovers' Roadrunner. Can you explain why you use that?
Well, I always try to go with the best song, the song that I like the most. Or you shoot the picture and you look at it, try this song against it, try that song against it. And we must have tried thousands of songs against it. And I don't know if you noticed, but she's not really dancing in time. It was supposed to be another song, originally she actually did it to, I forget, she actually danced another song. But the reason I picked this one was because, well, it's just a really kick-ass rock and roll song. But also, it reminded, there's lyrics in there about, which reminded me of being like 19 or 20, living in the suburbs, and listening to rock and roll music on the radio, because that's what he says. He says, I walk by the Stop and Shop, I drive by the Stop and Shop, with the radio on, 50,000 watts of power, going 1,000 miles an hour. And it's a lonely, late night song. But it says to me also that you got the radio, who's your friend, rock and roll is your friend.
It's also historically arguably a turning point in music. It's a turning point. I mean, a lot of people think of that as the first punk song. I mean, I've heard it called that.
Oh, did they? I didn't know that. I thought it was, is that?
The Modern Lovers version of this.
Oh, yeah. The Modern Lovers version doesn't kick so much ass. It's really good, but it's not quite so.
Yeah. So we don't have that much time, so I'd rather hear questions from you guys. So any questions?
Angel Feeney was great as always. Did you write the role with him in mind, or how did you come to cast him?
Did everybody hear the question?
No.
It was, did he write the role, Angela Feeney's role with him in mind?
I did. I started out not writing with him in mind, and then I was writing the screenplay for a couple of months, and I was having trouble. I wanted to quit. I just wasn't enjoying myself that much writing the story. And then one day I just thought, well, imagine if Jim was the father. Imagine Jim Feeney was the father, and all kind of clicked for me, and I went back to work.
Mr. Chase, I couldn't help but to notice that at one point when Pat is kind of scratching at his arm, it kind of reminded me at one point in The Sopranos where Tony, in one of the seasons, has a problem with psoriasis. I don't know if that was...
Are you kidding?
Was that just a coincidence, or is there anything behind it?
Sure was. I remember that. Are you kidding? Tony has psoriasis?
Well, in one episode, he had a section where he just kept scratching at his arm. I forget which season, but nevertheless, I just thought it was just ironic.
Yeah, ironic. It's ironic. Holy. Anyway, my father had psoriasis like that, so it's probably why I didn't know.
Can you talk a little bit about the choice of the songs, why you picked the songs you picked. For instance, you mentioned to me earlier today that you managed to slip Dylan in there, right into the wire.
Well, right at the end, yeah. Right at the end, because, I mean, I took the job to be, I was doing a movie about the British invasion. And you see Dylan, the album cover, and Dylan is like, sort of accepted, you kind of know he's there the whole time. But then I thought to myself, he really has to be there musically. And just last week, or a week and a half ago, we switched from the song that was there to that song, She Belongs to Me, which is like one of my favorite songs.
But she asked us about how much of the budget was clearance rights.
It was tremendous. It was huge, yeah. It was really, I mean, that's why I don't think you could ever make this movie independently. It had to be a big studio like Paramount, because I don't think with independent financing it'd be hard to get this music. We had a really good deal, but still, it was expensive.
Yeah. I was just curious, did you grow up in New Jersey?
I did, yeah.
On the shore, or?
No, not on the shore, in the New York metropolitan area.
So one thing I just wanted to say, I appreciate that. I did grow up in New Jersey at the beginning where they said, fuck is every other word they say. That's exactly how.
Where are you from?
In Red Bank, Middletown area. A little later, but same exactly.
That's the link to point out that at one point he walks out into the front lawn holding a piece of a cold cut, which is a really small little detail. I'm from New England myself, from an Italian and Catholic family. I would walk around with a piece of cold cut.
Exactly. Come down in the morning, you get a piece of ham or prosciutto or something. Chomp away at it. He's saying, in the kitchen scene when he's talking to his father about the army and all that, he's taking a piece of ham and dipping it in the mayonnaise.
Did you always open with the same scene of the Stones meeting? And also, did you always have that framing mechanism of the girl narrating the story?
We always opened, it was in the script, opening with the Stones meeting on the train. And I did not always have the girl narrating the story. The girl was always present in the story, and she ended the movie. But what happened was, I began to realize, maybe you won't believe this, but we would show this movie and people would say, were those guys the Rolling Stones? Or are they a famous band now? And I didn't know what to say. And so all the jokes in which they're talking about, well, we'll be going to press conferences, and well, we'll be doing this, it wasn't playing because they thought they were going to be a famous, the audience thought they were going to be a famous band. So I wanted to state up front, I needed to state up front that they were not ever going to be a famous band. Then, therefore, leaving the audience free to laugh at all their pretensions. It was complicated.
Could you tell them a little bit about your own history with a band?
Well, I had two friends of mine who were really, really good guitar players, and they had in our little town in New Jersey, they had like the most happening band in that town. It was an instrumental band, like the Ventures. I don't even know these people. They played like Venture songs and surf songs and stuff like that, like you see here. And then I, at that time, was playing drums in like a parallel sense. I wasn't a member of any band. And then we all sort of got out of that by senior year of high school. And then kind of sophomore year of college, bam, the British invasion hit, and they picked up their guitars again, and they asked me to be in this band. But we had this band for about, it was kind of a floating membership, but we had this band for probably 3 or 4 years, and we never played a date, period. Either paying or non-paying. We never got out of the basement at all. No one ever heard us except ourselves.
What did you play? What covers, I assume?
We played covers, yeah, we played covers. We were kind of mostly, I would say probably folk rock. We played Birds, Dylan, some Stones, and some blues.
Sort of two questions. In the credits, I saw that you wrote one of the songs. I was wondering what song was that in the show, and then also who wrote the band's main song?
The song that I co-wrote with Stevie Van Zandt was the jingle that the people were singing in the studio about the surgeon. I co-wrote that. I wrote the lyrics. So. And Stephen Van Zandt wrote the song St. Valentine's Day, which they played for Jerry Ragavoy. Stephen wrote that.
I'd say that's a really good song. Did everyone kind of feel like that's an actual song?
Everybody, all the way through this process, everyone has loved that song. And at once, another, I don't know what this says about me, but at another point when I was writing the script, I was going to quit. It wasn't going well, and I was just sort of bored with it. And Stevie Van Zandt sent me a demo that had this song on it, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and I really, really, really liked it. I thought, that's such a great rock and roll song, and it's such a rock and roll song. And it's got these great lyrics in it that are like great but terrible, like, and even your carrier pigeons have been picked by the vultures. Like, I don't know, like, you know, it's such a rock and roll lyric. And it got me all enthusiastic about going back to the script. And even stranger than that, I decided to go back to work on it. Even stranger than that, the song had the structure of the movie. It started on Thanksgiving, then went to Christmas and New Year's, and ends up on St. Valentine's Day, which this movie does not, but it does take place around February, March. Because you can see there's a lot of Thanksgivings and Christmases and New Year's. And I thought, how could this be? And it's a sign from something.
This might sound like an odd question. What's the history of that song now? I mean, what's the future of that song?
I don't know.
So does Stephen Van own the rights to that song?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it could be an Easter Egg song or something.
It could be, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds.
It has that quality to it. I love that song.